Hey Jackets, we're back, and now it's time to actually write the code. Alright, so I'm gonna start a new project. Let's call it QuizApp. In my PyCharm, I actually don't need a main py welcome script. Alright, so let me make sure it fits the screen. I'm gonna make this a little smaller. Alright, let's start with our first file, and that is going to be db. Alright, so we're going to create a function that will read data from our database. So we're going to take advantage of the PyMySQL module, and immediately you can see that this module is not recognized. And the reason why it's not recognized is because I have not pointed my PyCharm at the correct Python interpreter. Okay, so you need to go to PyCharm and then preferences, and then search for interpreter. All right, there we go, and it's pointing at something that I don't want. I actually wanted to point at the environment that I created in Conda. All right, so just to explain to you the process, let me launch my terminal. And so usually you'll say conda activate, and then it will activate your default environment, and you can say which Python, and that is the path that you need. In my case, that is not what I want. What I want is a did it work? Deactivate. All right, yeah. So what I want is a specific environment which I created for this class. It's new environment. Now I want to do which Python, and there it is. So this is the actual path to the Python that I want to use as my interpreter. Okay, so I copied this into my clipboard, and then I want to select like existing environment, and automatically, that's like the beauty of PyCharm. It immediately located that folder. So all I need to do is just say OK, and then it creates access to this folder. I say OK, and now yes, now PyMySQL is actually recognized. All right, let's create our function get database connection, and we're going to create PyMySQL.connect. All right, so now we need to specify the arguments. All right, so let's say host is going to be localhost. That basically means your computer. User is root. So now you need to provide like credentials. So in my case, my password looks like this. Database, let's call it QuizApp. I think that's the name that we gave. Let's confirm. Oh, QuizDB actually. QuizDB, that makes sense. Comma. And here's one interesting argument. PyMySQL.cursors.dictionary cursor. So what this will do is that by default, when you read the output of your queries, SQL queries, the PyMySQL will return them as tuples. And you would have to, access those results using indexes, which is something that I don't want. Instead, I want to access them as a dictionary. That is way more convenient. Extra space here, that's why we had that underlining. All right, so I think that's it with our connection. Now let's start with our main file. All right, so I'm gonna add file called main. All right, so let's create our main window class, and usually we tell you to extend main window from X widget. In our case, I'm gonna have to extend it from QMain window. All right, and the reason why is because we're going to use some functionality which is not available for QWidgets. They're only available for QMain windows, so I'll introduce that gradually. So we need to initialize. Here's our constructor. This you should be able to do it with your eyes closed. Let's first set the window title. Let's say QuizApp. Yeah, so all right, so I think that's about it. Let's actually create an instance of our class inside our if statement. If name equals main, as usual, app equals q application. Let's import it. Let's also add argv argument, and then window equals main window, and then window.show, and then sys.exit app execute. All right, so we just imported our system here as well. So let's launch this. Let's see what happens. All right, here's our quiz app with the correct title. All right, so far so good. So now let's get started. Okay, so I'm going to create a stacked widget, and I'll explain that in a sec. So Q stacked widget. All right, so this is a new control that we haven't talked about in the class, but the idea is that we can stack multiple layouts, and then we can, enable the one that we currently want, and that will help us simplify our window management a little bit. And the way you do it is you say self dot set central widget, and then self dot stacked widget. Right, I think that's how it works. So that is going to be our central widget for the moment. So let's create auth widget equals auth widget, and then we'll pass self, which is our main class. So auth widget does not exist yet, so let's create a file called auth, and this is where we will manage our login and register stuff. All right, so class auth widget. So this is going to be a regular Q widget. So let's import this, define constructor like so, super blah. All right, and then so what I'm going to do is, if you recall in the previous window, we actually passed like the self, which is the main window. So we need to say here's our main window, and let's preserve this as an instance attribute. So self main window is equal to main window, and we'll need that later. All right, let's go back to here. Auth widget is still underlined. Let's import this one from our class. Okay, so our common code structure will look like this. We're going to invoke self.init UI, and that is where actually our UI code will be located at. So define init UI. This is going to be an instance method. Let's just call pass. All right. So similarly, let's set self.stack widget. Let's add this newly created auth widget. So similarly, we're going to create home widget. So that is the window that the screen that will show up when after the authentication window. Self.stackWidget.add widget self.home widget. So let's create now this home widget thing, class home widget. It's gonna extend QWidget. And let's import QWidget, define constructor like so, super.init. And then we also pass like a reference to the main window. Let's preserve it, self.main window equals main window. And also let's do invoke self.init UI. And here's our init UI, which is going to be empty for now. All right, and now let's import home widget. There we go. Let's also add the quiz widget equals quiz widget self. I'm just gonna copy this to here. I'm gonna quiz widget, and then let's create our quiz widget. I'm gonna extend QWidget, define constructor, super init. Yeah, let's extend QWidget. Let's also pass in the main window, self.main window equals main window, and let's invoke init UI, which is going to be empty for now. All right, let's import this one. We also have the leaderboard. Leaderboard widget equals leaderboard widget. Let's pass self. Let's copy this line over here. We're adding leaderboard widget. Let's add this leaderboard file. Leaderboard widget. Gonna extend QWidget. Let's import this one. Define init. We're gonna pass main window. Super, and then init, and then self.main window. Let's preserve the main window reference. Final self.init UI. Define init UI. Pass. All right, and let's import leaderboard widget. All right, so far so good. And I also want to add I think that's it for now. So I think we can focus now on the auth widget. So auth widget. All right, so let's focus on the UI. So I'm just gonna take advantage of a regular vertical box. So self.layout equals qv box layout. Yeah, I wonder why it is not complaining. I know that we need to import it like so, so hopefully that'll work. So we'll start with the username label equals qlabel. I'll just say username self.layout.add widget. I'm gonna pass self. Interesting. All of a sudden, I'm not getting any help from PyCharm. Let me relaunch this qlabel. Yeah, qlabel is not defined. Okay, so far so good. That is good. I wonder why it's not underlined, but I have no idea. So comma q label. All right, so what else I want? I want password, self dot password label equals q label password, like so. And self dot layout dot add widget self dot password label. All right, and then we also need to have the input field for our password. We also need an input field for our username, right? Self dot username underscore input equals q line edit self dot layout dot add widget. Let's add, yeah, not sure why all of a sudden this is broken. Yeah, I was hoping for more help from IDE, but looks like I'm gonna have to type everything manually, which is kind of annoying. Password input equals q line edit. All right, self dot, oh, let me show you another useful thing. You can set echo mode to q line edit dot password, so that way I'll show you the result. The actual clear key text will be replaced with I believe bullet points. Self dot layout dot add widget. I'm gonna add self dot password input. Okay, now it's working. I don't know why it stopped for a moment. Now self dot login button equals q push button. All right, let's import this one. Let's call it login. Self dot login button dot connect. Okay, let's keep this one for now, and then self dot layout dot add widget. Let's focus on the GUI first. Self dot what is it? Login button. Still self dot register button equals q push button register, and then self dot layout dot add widget. Let's add self dot register button. All right, finally self dot set layout. I'm gonna set to self dot layout. Okay. Okay, so let's see, where do we begin? So our central widget is, okay, well, let's see what happens. Self dot layout dot, oh yeah, add widget, yeah, dot add widget. Let's run again. We probably forgot to add a what was the problem? Quiz widget. Quiz widget. Here we are. We're passing this like a reference to the cell, which is the main window. What is different? Oh yeah, I forgot to underscores. Let's try it again. Okay, here's our UI. Okay, it's looking good. Username user1. Let's say 1 2 3 4. Login, register. Nothing is happening because we have not connected any functions just yet. All right, so let's go back to auth.py. Let's actually connect our login button to a function called self.login. All right, so this function does not exist yet. So let's implement it. right about here. Login. All right, so let's get the username from our self.username underscore input dot text. Let's get the password in a similar way. Password input dot text. All right, so now is the fun part, okay? So we're gonna create a connection to our MySQL getDB connection. All right, and this is not recognized. We're gonna import it. Locally. What does it mean? Huh. All right, so what we meant was from DB import get DB connection. All right, so now get DB connection, and I think this function will know what to do. So then we can take advantage of our connection. So with connection dot cursor, as cursor, here's our SQL code. Insert into users. And then followed by username, comma, password, values. And here's how you do it. So this is going to be 2 sets of strings. So percentage s, and then we do try cursor dot execute, and then given our SQL, and then here's our tuple of values, username, comma, password. All right, connection dot commit, and then we want to also print something. So we're going to say q message box. All right, so let's import this one. So we're going to say q message box dot information. So we're going to pass self, and then we'll say so this is login, right? So we're not gonna commit because we're not like adding any records, so we'll just say just execute. There's no commit, we're just getting data. So we'll say user equals cursor dot fetch one if we want to like retrieve just one record, and then okay, so there's no even try and catch statement. So we're just, you know, just pushing that SQL code, and then if we did get user, then q message box dot information self, comma, login success, and then login successful. All right, so when that happens, we want to set the user in the main window. So say self.main window.user equals incoming user, and then we want to, you know, set the next screen. So self.main window dot, let's say, show home. All right, and if user did not work, we'll just show a message to the user saying login failed, comma, something like incorrect username and or password. I don't want to give too many clues. Okay, and then we should also say connection.close to clean up all the resources. All right, so a few things first. So when we're setting the window title, let's say user is none. All right, initial user is none. In addition, note that we were referring to a method which does not exist yet. So let's just go ahead and create this, add this method. Show home. Alright, show home will look like this. Self.stackWidget.set central current. It's gonna be current widget. Self.home widget. Yep, that's it. Let's run this. Let's see what happens. Self login. What's wrong? Q push button has no attribute. Oh yeah. So it should be something like a clicked or something. Yeah. So I want the user. So I'll stop this. Clicked dot. Let's run it again. User 1, let's say 123, like incorrect password, login. Alright, so what's wrong? Okay, let me run it again. There was a problem. User 123, login. What is it saying? Duplicate entry user 1 for key users. Oh wow, I'm not supposed to be yeah, this I think this was like a, yeah, so I got confused. So let's do this. Let's rename this to, I guess, register. I'm gonna rename this to register and then we'll fix it. Yeah, let's go ahead and refactor this code. This is fine. So let's add the proper login. So this was not a login, this was something else. Okay. All right, so I'm just gonna create another function. Now let's call it login. So login button, clicked login, and similar self dot register button dot click dot connect self dot register. Okay. So now let's fix our login logic. So logging was supposed to do just a select statement. So let's do select all from users where username equals blah and password equals blah. Okay, so this looks better. This is the actual select where we're just querying our database. So for registering, we're supposed to insert, but now this is going to require a commit. So this is our SQL query. So now we'll say try and then execute, and now we'll say connection dot commit. We're committing some data to the database. If everything is fine, we'll just say dot information self comma registration success, and then registration successful. All right. Otherwise, PyMySQL dot MySQL error as E. In that case, we'll say Q message box dot information self comma registration failed. Something like error while registering the user, something like that. And let's get rid of this stuff, and at the end we're just closing our connection. All right, let's try get DB connection. Oh wow, yeah, I want to do it at the top. Yeah, I'm doing it at the top. Yeah, like this. All right, let's do it. User 1, let's enter incorrect password, login, incorrect username and or password, sounds good. Let's go back and say 4, login successful, and then empty view, because we haven't defined our home view just yet. All right, so let's take care of our home view, which is going to be straightforward. So init UI, so our layout is going to be a QV box layout. All right, let's import this one. So we're gonna have a start quiz button equals Q push button. Let's import this one. Start quiz, and then let's connect it to, so when they click on the start quiz button, we're gonna ask main window to show quiz, and let's not forget to add a widget start quiz button there. In addition, let's say leaderboard button equals Q push button, show leaderboard, leaderboard button dot clicked dot connect self dot main window dot show leaderboard, and let's add leaderboard button. Let's not forget to set the layout accordingly. All right, let's roll. Show quiz, well, I guess the show quiz button, what, really? Oh yeah, so here's the trick. So I made a mistake. This is not a method call. We're actually literally passing a reference to a function itself. We're not calling it, we're passing a reference. So I got rid of those parentheses. Let's do it again. Well, let's make sure that we do have the show quiz method. Do we? All right, show home. So let's do define show quiz. So I'm just gonna copy this. Let's set it to quiz widget. Similarly, show leaderboard. So let's set it to leaderboard widget. All right, let's run again. So user 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, login successful. Boom! Now we're inside the home widget. Oops. Start quiz. Yeah, I did nothing because we haven't implemented those other widgets just yet. But overall, I think it's looking pretty good. So here's our main, DB auth, home. Home is working. Now let's work on the probably the hardest file now. All right, so let's see what our quiz widget will look like. All right, let's create the layout. Self.layout equals QV box layout, and let's import this one. Self.set layout. Self.layout. All right, so one thing I want to show you, check this out. So let's say we're here, and this is our init UI function, and then we are creating our layout, blah blah blah, and then in the very end, once we're done with creating our layout, we're invoking self.setLayout. This function, actually function call, does not have to go last. We can do it immediately, and we can continue building our layout, and it will still work. And that is because of the the way the objects work. So it will be the same object, and it's will have some updated attributes. So this set layout can go right after we just created our self.layout instance attribute. Just FYI. So category label equals QLabel. Let's import this one. Let's say select category. Self.layout. Let's add this widget. Self.category label. Okay. Let's add next the combo box. Combo equals Q combo box. All right. And we're going to invoke self load categories that will actually load this combo box where the user will be selecting, you know, a category. And finally self.layout, add widget self.category combo. Let's add the start button equals Q push button. So the button will be start quiz. Self.start button clicked. Connect. Let's connect it to a function called start quiz. Let's define start quiz. That does nothing for now. Self.layout add widget self.start button. And we need the, you know, right below our start quiz, we're gonna have, you know, the part of the GUI that will, you know, add questions one by one. And this is the part which will be dynamically generated. So I'm just gonna call it dynamic layout for a lack of a better term. All right, and self.layout add widget self.dynamic layout. All right, cool. So first, let me implement a function called load categories. Self. All right, so we're gonna read categories from the database. So we're gonna create a favorite connection object equals what was the name? Get db connection. All right, let's import this one. Yep, the import went fine. We just imported our connection. Oops. So with connection dot cursor as cursor SQL equals select all from categories cursor dot execute SQL, the one we just created, and categories equals cursor dot fetch all in this case, because there will be like multiple categories. So then we can use it for category in categories, self dot category combo dot add item. So that is the function that we should use to add items to any combo box. Okay, so now I'll show you why finally I use the cursor as a dictionary. So we can just say category and then use it as a dictionary. So I want to add like a name and like a ID, retrieve name and ID. All right, and we need to close our connection. So this is how add item works. So first goes the text and then followed by the user data. So the actual text is the actual name that we provided using like our database script, and the ID is the ID that will be used to match this category name. All right. Let's see if this works. Self.dynamic layout, what's wrong? Add widget. Oh, QV box layout. Oh, we have to say add layout. I think that is it. All right, let's do it. User 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, login, successful, start quiz. Boom. So now we were able to populate our combo box with those items. And start quiz does nothing. I don't think we connected any function just yet to that. All right, again, this is going to be our hardest like class in this whole app. So now let's implement our start quiz functionality. So this is what we're gonna do. I actually want to disable all the buttons. Oops. All the buttons like after the. So you're not able to restart the quiz that you already started, basically. And category combo dot set enabled is false. So then let's get the current category ID. Selected category ID equals, which you can retrieve from the combo box dot current data. Self dot load questions. And then we can pass selected category ID. So this function does not exist yet. So let's create it. Load questions. All right, so we're gonna load our question from the database. So again, let's get our connection. Connection equals get db connection, and then with connection dot cursor as cursor. SQL equals select all from questions where category ID equals %s cursor dot execute, and we need to pass the SQL comma, and then as a tuple we need to provide the category ID, and then you have to put like oops. All right. Yeah, so we're actually passing the category ID there. So we just executed this select, and then self dot questions equals cursor dot fetch all. So hopefully this will set our questions by reading them from the database. Is there anything else? Let's close our connection. Close. And let's show our first question, because we're going to show our questions one by one. So let's show question. So first, let's make sure that we do have questions. If not, we'll just show like a message. Information, something like, yeah, if we do not see our question anymore, it means that we are done. The quiz is complete, and you can say you have completed the quiz, exclamation point, and we'll just return. Otherwise, let's get our next question, self.questions dot, and here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna pop our first added question from the questions list and remove it from that list. So successive calls of this method will basically empty the questions list. So let's set the current question to the one we just read. Self.dynamic layout dot add widget. Okay, so we're gonna add, let's say, a Q label. I need to import it, and the text will be equal to the question. I think the field is called question. Let's take a look. Question. The field is called question, right? So we're reading. We are adding like the question, and let's also add the answers. Self.answer buttons. We're gonna start with an empty list, and then correct answer equals. Let's read the correct answer there, and wrong answers will be read from the question, wrong answers, and then we're gonna split them based on the comma. So if you recall, we added like a single correct answer, and we also added like all the incorrect answers using commas to separate them. So options equals correct answer, and let's add the wrong answers. All right, so there's our list of options. So for option in options, button equals Q push button, and the text is going to be equal to option, and then button dot clicked dot connect. We're gonna assign it to a method which we're gonna call check answer. Self, let's not forget to add it to our dynamic layout button, and also let's add the let's append them to our answer buttons, which we're gonna use later on. For now, let me define check answer as an empty method. Let's run this beast. 1, 2, 3, 4. Login successful. Start quiz. Let's start with the general knowledge. Oh wow! I'm so surprised. This is actually working. Wow, cool. All right, so what is the capital of France, which is Paris? So let's check our answer. Let's see. So for button in self.answer buttons, this is where we take advantage of our buttons. Button. So the reason why I wanted to preserve that is I wanted to enable everything after the user, makes a selection. And so the button that was clicked, sender equals self.sender. All right. So we're gonna do if sender dot text equals to the correct answer. If that is so, let's provide feedback to the user, and let's say correct, comma, correct answer. And I think that's it for now, but we actually also want to submit the score. We need to update the score accordingly. We need to pass in the user ID, which you can get from the main class. We have access to the user, namely their ID, comma, and let's add like 10 points for the correct answer. Otherwise, let's just show a message box saying incorrect, comma, So once we check the answer, let's just go ahead and show the next one. Okay, so I think that is the plan. Let's see. Show. So when we loaded the question, we invoked like the question, and then we're actually showing it. And once we're checking the answer, let's invoke self.show question. Okay. And what else? So submit score. Yeah, so submit score does not exist. Let's say submit score. Let's say pass. Let's run it. User 1, 2, 3, 4, log in. Let's start our quiz. Let's start our quiz. Paris. That is actually correct answer. All right, yeah. So submit score accepts two arguments. The first one is the user ID, and the second one is the score. Let's just go ahead and implement it like so. So first, let's get the connection. All right, and then with connection dot cursor as cursor. SQL is equal to insert into scores. The fields are user ID and score. Values are percent. And then we can do cursor dot execute SQL. Then we need to provide a tuple, and it's going to be a combination of user ID and score. And we need to commit. And let's close our connection. All right, user 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, log in, and let's start our quiz, general knowledge. All right, so let's review our database. So I'm gonna select all from scores. All right, so these are the scores. User 1 has like a score of 50, which is okay. Now let's choose like an incorrect answer, and let's refresh. Nothing happens. Oh wow, we proceeded to the second question. And now let's choose it correctly. What is the, who wrote Hamlet? William Shakespeare. Correct. You have completed the quiz. Everything is disabled. Cool, really cool. Now let me refresh this. Now you see a new record. So a newly updated score. User just scored like 10 points. So this is correct. The code looks awesome so far. I think we're about finished. One last item we have is the leaderboard, and then we're going to test the registration. All right, so let's do our leaderboard. Let's create a layout, qv box layout. Does not exist yet. Let's import it. Title label equals q label leaderboard. Let's import this one. Layout dot add widget title label, and let's say we're going to invoke load a leaderboard. I'm going to pass layout. All right, so we'll need to load the leaderboard from the database, okay? And last is self.set layout to layout. Okay, so far so good. Let's implement load leaderboard. right, self comma layout, or if you don't want to pass the layout, let's just make it like self.layout for just to make it simple. Just don't want to add like extra complexity. Let's just, you know, let's do this first. Let's create our connection as usual, equals get db connection. Let's import this one with connection.cursor as cursor SQL. Let's select all from leaderboard. Cursor.execute SQL. Leaderboard is equal to cursor.fetch all, as there may be multiple results for entry in leaderboard. Oh, by the way, this is cool. So we're going to implement our leaderboard, but yeah, so layout dot add widget. So we're going to add like a label. We're going to add a label, self.layout. We're going to add a label as follows. So we're going to say username, let's see. So let's do this double quotes. This is username blah. Equals, yeah, so this one will be like curly braces. Curly braces, closing double quotes, and I think that's it, and then connection dot close. All right, so everything is looking good so far, except we don't have a leaderboard. All right, so now we get to flex our SQL writing muscles. All right, so check this out. We have user with ID 1 entered multiple scores, but we want to keep their highest score. User 2 only has like one record here. So if I were to like log in at, oops, what's up? Yeah, so this view does not exist yet. Okay. So they were able to figure out so quickly. Okay, so for now, let me just say pass, and then I'll comment this. Let's just say pass for now. Self.layout. Let's run it again. So user 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 4, login. Let's start our quiz. Let's do general knowledge. Let's do another one. How about history? Start quiz. Who was the first president of the United States? That is a good question. George Washington. What year did the Titanic sink? 1912. Correct answer. All right. So we just entered a new score for user number 2. So let me refresh this. Again, check this out. So we have multiple scores entered by user with ID 2, multiple scores entered by user with ID 1. So for each entry entered by user 1, we want to get the maximum score, which is 50. For each entry entered by user 2, we want to get the maximum score. So essentially, we're grouping by user ID. And let me show you. So we're gonna select let's say all from scores. So check this out. Group by, I want to group by user ID. We want to select for each user ID, we want to see maximum score. All right. what just happened? I hit some, oh my goodness. Oh no, here we are. Yeah, group ID, user ID, and let's order results by score in descending order. All right, so let me run this. We have a bug. Let me check. Let's check this out. What is wrong? This is incompatible with. Okay, so some bug. All right. Select user ID. Okay, again, let me run this. So we're grouping by user ID. I want to get the highest score. And then from scores, group by user ID and order by, oh, not by score, my bad, by maximum score descending. This is what I want. Oh, now it makes sense. Okay. All right, so let's call it as max as score. All right, so check this out. So this is done. What we can do, let me show you one last cool thing. So let's create a view named leaderboard as this select. So here's what's going to happen. There are no views at the moment, but let's create a view as a result of this query. Boom. All right, so everything is in green. Let me refresh this left panel. Now you can see that I actually have a view. Let me right click and show it. And it actually shows the results as, you know, as a table. And we can reference this as in our SQL statements, which is why if I uncomment my leaderboard code, now this should work because I can safely use my like a leaderboard view as a table. Okay, so the first one is a use. Oh yeah. So yeah, actually that's not it. Okay, so I actually want to retrieve like a username from scores. So we're gonna. So I can only get like a username from the users table. Let me show you the users table. So the users table has a user ID and username. So I'm gonna join it with users on scores dot user ID equals users dot ID, and what I want to see is actually a username. Okay, let me rerun this just to see if it works. Refresh. Let me take a look at the leaderboard. Cool, this is so cool. So check out what happened. So basically I recreated my view, and now I have a view that looks like a table. It's called like a virtual table, and I actually don't want to see a user ID. I want to see a username. So to retrieve that, I had to join my scores with the users table, and here's the join condition. And so in my output, I want to see the username. All right. So hopefully now it should work, and this one is, I want to see their scores. All right, fingers crossed. User 1, password 1234. Let's log in. Login was successful. We don't need that login successful thing, right? Yeah. Where did it say login successful? Let's keep it. Who cares? Let's show the leaderboard. Yay! So leaderboard, user 2 is at the top, and then there's user 1. Let's do this. I'm gonna register a user 3. So here's my user 3. So first of all, let me go back to my workbench. Let me show you all the current users. So we have 2 users only at the moment. So I'm gonna add users 3, password 1234. Let's register. Registration successful. Now let's log in. Login successful. Now we're here. Let's show the leaderboard. Yeah, leaderboard is empty. Let's enter something for the let's enter something for the user 3. So user 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, log in. Let's start the quiz. Let's do a math quiz. Start quiz. Square root of 144.12. Integral of 2x. This. We have completed the quiz. That's it. Now let me rerun this and let's take a look. Login. Show leaderboard. Yeah, now I have user 3 as well. Alright, I think this is it. So it took me a bit longer than I expected, but it turned out to be a lot of coding involved. But over the course of this project, we basically touched on every PyQ feature that we learned, as well as every like a SQL feature that we learned. We also got to practice talking to a MySQL database from Python. All right, that's it. I hope it was fun. If you watch this, I really hope that you pause the video at some point, because that would be boring to watch it like for an hour or so. All right, so that's it, and I hope you enjoyed it.